American champion Knicks.
Dreams do come true.
Battle it out on Broadway.
I'll go out there and be big, baby.
Game 2. Player of the Week, Steve Francis, is the NBA's latest sensation. But the Lakers know a thing or two about showtime.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, it's not only Jason Williams' first trip to Madison Square Garden, it's his first trip to New York City. He spent his first night in the big city last night. I just spoke to him a few moments ago. I asked him what his impressions are of New York. He said it's big, it's cold, and it's kind of wild. I asked him why he'd never been here before. He said it's an awful long way from DuPont City, West Virginia. Never wanted to come here, but he'd like to come back now. He's enjoying it. I asked him if he's going to put on a show today. He says, hopefully I'll put on a show, but more importantly, I'd like to put on a win. Tom?
All right, I'm sure he has something in store for the fans here at the Garden. Thank you, Jim. Jim just off the plane back from London in the Mike Tyson fight last night. And the Sacramento Kings control the opening tap. Hugh Hollins, Benny Adams, and Tom Washington, today's officials.
You know, the secret for the New York Knicks is to really squeeze the game. They can't let plays like that happen, you know, and what Sacramento does better than anybody else in the league is open the middle and let people cut to the bucket.
They're able to open the middle because their big men, Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, can really pass the ball.
That time we saw the pass to Anderson, who reversed it through. Ewing misses, and a loose ball foul called on Larry Johnson.
You know, the real secret is pressure on the passer, and when you don't have any, a bullet right to the rim and an easy two for Nick Anderson.
Divac with a miss, rebounded by Larry Johnson. Here's Charlie Ward.
No such thing as a bad shot in the Kings' scheme of things as long as they hit the rim.
Patrick Ewing kind of fanned on it, but tapped it back to himself and then is called for walking, shuffling his feet. So not a good start for Ewing. One missed shot right at the rim and then a turnover. Ewing this past week going over the 23,000 point mark, the 17th NBA player to do so.
Karl Malone, 30,000 yesterday. Incredible accomplishment there.
We talked about this classic confrontation. The Kings have scored over 100 points in 11 straight games as Allen Houston gets New York on the board.
The developing chemistry between Sprewell and Allen Houston has been a thing of beauty to watch. Quick shot release.
Jason Williams missing the three.
This matchup here, Sprewell and Corliss Williams, can go either way in a number of different factors. Tough shot.
Ewing barely grazed the rim, and Chris Webber has it for Sacramento. So Sacramento has scored 11 straight games over 100 points, 6 games this season over 110. This season, the Knicks have allowed 100 points only 7 times. So will it be offense or defense? Here's Sprewell against Williams. Dishing and putting it in is Houston from Sprewell.
Charlie Ward with an incredible steal. Careless inbound pass by the Kings.
And Sprewell for 3. Well, there's defense paying off in that flurry. The steal results in a 3 after the fast break layup, and it was the Knicks that got out on the break, the transition basket.
Well, if the New York Knicks are really going to be as good as they can be, they have to get more of those transitions. They are a jump shooting team, Divac's inside, and when they slow down, because their number is 90. Once they get to 90, all the scoring stops. So if they use up 90 points here, we're in trouble, guys.
You saying the tires go flat when you get to 90?
But the Kings don't play enough defense to keep the Knicks in the 90s.
That basket by Divac broke a run of 7 straight by New York. LJ can't hit. Divac clears to Williams.
So tough for Larry Johnson every single game against a taller, rangier opponent. Chris Webber for 3.
Webber, the three-pointer goes down. His first basket of the game.
2 years ago, Chris Webber was in Washington, stamping his foot and shooting threes, and everybody said he was crazy. He has now developed a three-point shot, so now you have to play him out on the floor, and his total game has finally come together. He has been awesome.
Anderson poked it away, but couldn't save it.
Steve, you mentioned opening up the middle. When you have your big players, Vlade Divac and Chris Webber, who can both stroke three-point shots, Patrick Ewing doesn't like to come away from the basket and play defense. Larry Johnson, that's not the strength of his game. These are more big physical bangers inside.
Charlie Ward, baseline jumper is his first basket.
Charlie Ward is having a terrific scoring season. Needs to be more aggressive on the offensive end, but this is the kind of game.
Williams to Devont.
That's flamboyant, Bill.
And he's got something going already, Jason Williams, with the front row fans here at Madison Square Garden.
Sprewell against Anderson.
If you notice the difference in the way that the team scored, the Knicks really have to work real hard to get their scores. That's not the story for the Sacramento Kings. A charge on Williamson, but they like to get up and down the floor, and they like to open it and have people cutting to the hoop.
Last two trips for Sacramento. An incredible pass. The quickness right on target for Jason Williams. And then in the fast break, poor spacing. Corliss Williamson got out ahead of the pack. You got to wait and let the ball come first to give your offensive playmaker a chance to let things develop.
Illegal defense called against Sacramento. The foul, by the way, by Corliss Williamson was the first on Rick Adelman's Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, Vladdy's practicing diplomacy. First he disagreed. Come on, man. Now, okay, I see the line, you know. So, you know, Vladdy's got the deal down now.
Well, he spent a little time, you know, in diplomatic circles, converting to American citizenship. Born in Yugoslavia, as Patrick Ewing buries the baseline jumper. Ewing now 1 for 3. And the Knicks lead by a deuce.
All the Knicks' successful plays have been on penetration and dish, the teamwork, setting your teammates up with your attack on the basket.
Nick Anderson, soft off the glass. He has 4 points.
Guys, let's do this today. You count the jump shots for the Knicks. I'll count the layups for the Sacramento Kings, because that's the difference in the game. The Knicks are a jump shooting team, and the Sacramento Kings are more a team that will play closer to the rim and above the rim.
Traveling violation on Larry Johnson. Jeff Van Gundy does not want his team to get lured into this casual up and down game that the Kings like to play.
He had the best line of the day. He said, we can't be lured into their type of game. I don't think they're going to be lured into ours. Latrell Sprewell's second bucket. New York by 2.
Jason Williams' left hand and his quickness, I think, are the two most surprising things about his game.
Diagonal pass, finds an open Williamson. Can't hit it. Ewing saves it to Ward. Houston spotted for 3. Williamson the other way for Sacramento.
Reluctant to go to the offensive glass.
An air ball off the quick 3 by Nick Anderson.
You laugh. More are coming.
Coach can only coach every other year. They don't say that to players, and they shouldn't say it to coaches. If you have the best record by that cutoff date, he should be there. And since he's retiring at the end of the year, he should really be there. And there should be a nice send-off. But it would be an honor if I got to do it. The players, it's more of a player show, obviously. Your job as an all-star coach is to, I found out as an assistant, is to sit down and stay out of the way, and I would do that to the best of my ability.
Well, Jeff was an assistant to Pat Riley when Riley was the Knicks coach and coached the East All-Star team, and he said he was the only All-Star assistant in history to be putting scouting reports under the players' doors the night before the game.
Those scouting reports critically important to All-Star game production. Really have to focus in on the defense, the passing, running all the plays. Knicks passing this afternoon has been outstanding. It's also a result, though, of porous King defense.
Sprewell with a miss. Ewing knocked it away from Williamson. It'll be Sacramento ball.
Well, now, I don't want you to get too crazy with the story about defense today, because this is going to come down to which team makes the critical stop. As I said before, the Kings are shooting layups, the Knicks are shooting jump shots, and the jump shot is going to break down before the layup.
The Knicks will solve these back cuts.
Well, can they solve Chris Webber? He shoots and hits over Larry Johnson. He has 5 here in the first quarter. Fifth time the game has been tied. Allen Houston, tough shot, came up short. Nothing but black shirts for the rebound.
Fabulous defense by Nick Anderson, who has a ton of experience against post-up guards. He's trying to get some back of his own, Nick Anderson.
Devos threw a bad pass, deflected, intercepted by Houston. Ward for Ewing.
This is the kind of game that Charlie Ward generally shines in, with all the hype about.
No.
Weber can't believe it. I go in, I get the finish, and you say, I wiped him off.
Beautiful defense. Patrick Ewing pokes that ball away, and then in transition, this is spacing on the fast break where they get the ball with one defender back to the side. The opposite side of Ewing, who can deliver above the rim. Charlie Ward puts it perfect. All Ewing has to do is throw it down.
This might be the pace, though, that Sacramento wants. New York has 9 points off the Sacramento turnovers, by the way. Could be 3 more coming. Not there, though. Ewing, the offensive board. 4 rebounds for Patrick, and they make him pay as Sprewell hits the 3.
Long shots tend to lead to long rebounds. Charlie Ward popping that ball out of bounds. If the Knicks can continue to move aggressively on the offensive glass to get those long rebounds, they'll set up Sprewell and Houston time and time again for wide open looks.
Kurt Thomas replacing Larry Johnson for New York.
Well, you never know with Kurt Thomas who's going to arrive and what's going to happen when he's out on the floor. And Weber will test him and right away chew off the glass.
That was too easy. Just hold the ball up, bank it home. Chris Webber was 7 points on 3 of 3 shooting.
The problem with guarding Chris Webber, though, is that he can pump fake that shot and go to the basket and finish above the rim. That's why these guys have to stay down.
Ewing facing up on Devos. Sweeping to the basket, and he got the roll. Patrick Ewing with 8 points in the first quarter.
Well, for all of those doubters, Patrick Ewing lives and is showing some of his old fight this afternoon. 8 points here in the first quarter of play. Anderson
missed his first 2 shots, did Ewing, and now he's hit 4 in a row as Houston rebounds that miss.
Ewing extending the defense, forcing tough shots.
Nick Anderson with a flop is called for the blocking foul.
Ewing in the offensive post. The first time this afternoon he's tried his own offensive game. He's got a lot of points, but everything's been as the result of the other players' creativity. The Knicks still trying to find that balance of working Patrick Ewing back into the lineup. With Ewing, the record is very, very good, 66%. Without him, a 500 team.
Houston for 3. Williams takes it the other way for Sacramento.
with Williams and the ball, you never know where the adventure is going to be.
And when you can make outside shots, that sets up back cuts for Chris Webber. But you have to have a point guard who can put the ball where you want it.
Webber hasn't missed a shot, and Jason Williams with a spectacular lob. Last 6 points for the Kings scored by Chris Webber. Ewing throws it right to Williams. 3-on-2 break for the Kings.
Webber's got to run.
Oh, Anderson put it in behind the back. The wraparound from Jason Williams.
I want you to count these layups, Bill. You keep telling me about this defense. They can't get close to it.
It's very, very early in this game. 2 minutes to go in the first quarter.
And the Knicks by 1. Allen Houston. He got a clear path to the basket, dodged a couple, and put it through.
Van Gundy was telling us that the Kings right back up in transition offense. Van Gundy telling us that the only team like Sacramento
layup
is the Milwaukee Bucks, coached by George Karl. Their huge win at Seattle in a homecoming for George Karl last night. But Milwaukee, one of those dynamic, vibrant offensive units, similar.
I still say this is Sacramento pace here.
Now this is the kind of game that Sacramento wants the Knicks to play. And again, if you keep talking about the passer, watch no pressure, and the ability to feed a guy right on the button. This guy is putting on a show, and he's yet to put it in the air.
Showtime on Broadway.
For a couple of days.
It's not nearly as long as that road trip I took last night. Allen Houston had a foot on the line. That's a 2. But Houston has 8 in the first quarter with 1:33 left. On 4 of 7 shooting, the Knicks by 3.
Oh, it's a hot shooting first quarter of play. Weber for another 3.
His first miss of the game.
The Knicks go small as Ewing to the bench. Camby in to play with Thomas up front.
And Houston knocks down another one. Back-to-back buckets for Houston, the first player in the game in double figures. Corbin is in the game for Williamson in Sacramento, and Camby replaces Ewing for New York as Jason Williams sinks his first bucket.
The explosiveness, the creativity. Chris Webber marveling at that in our pregame meeting, talking about Jason Williams. In just a second year, right at the top of the league. A nice poke away by Jason Williams.
And Williams will lead the Sacramento break. Pulls up for 3. Bottom of the net.
They came to put on a show. Everybody's forgotten that New York is Madison Square Garden, and the Kings have been dying to get here. This is their first and only trip in, and they are prepared for the big moment.
Two teams only played once last year. That was in Sacramento. And Sprewell now is in double figures as New York goes back on top.
Kurt Thomas has got that look on his face.
Jason Williams bringing everything. The crossover just freezes Charlie Ward.
Almost buckled his knees.
Utilizing the screens, and then the quickness that Charlie is having to face here. He's got to backpedal, and that's what allows Jason Williams to just throw up a three-point shot at virtually any time.
25 seconds left in the quarter. It's about a 9-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Back to Jason Williams. And again for 3. As the shot clock expired, Knicks can take the final shot of the quarter. Stolen by Williams. Can he beat the clock behind the back? Corbin. It'll count and 1. Blocking foul on Charlie Ward.
Anticipation. What defines quickness for a player. Jason Williams reads this play perfectly, then comes in, and again, the left hand. When you have a left hand like that, and you're just in the second year in the league, there is no limit to what you can do over the course of your career.
Corbin misses the free throw. Weber kept it alive for a moment as the first quarter comes to a close. Blistering the Nets. New York hit 64%, Sacramento 61%, but Jason Williams already putting on a show at Madison Square Garden. At the end of the first quarter at Madison Square Garden, the Sacramento Kings and the New York Knicks are tied at 30.
We'll see how he performs.
The bench mob. By the way, we'll take a look at the Knicks midseason report card a little later as Charlie Ward misses the shot. Sacramento has a chance to take the lead.
By the way, Steve, what place are the Kings in the Western Conference? Fifth? Fourth?
What does that mean? They should have a better grade?
John Barry and Lawrence Funderburk into the game for Sacramento. Look at Weber go up to get it, and then he lost it. Picked off by Larry Johnson. Lob pass, Ward for Camby, and he's going to get a tee for hanging on the rim.
Marcus Camby is complaining here that Tyrone Corbin was underneath him, and that's why he had to pull himself up. But I think when Hugh Holland saw the second...
There was nobody
under him. No, nobody under him.
Maybe that's why you don't know what place the Kings are in the Western Conference.
But he was waiting for him to run underneath him.
So John Barry, 90% free throw shooter, sinks the technical foul. Camby has fouled out of the last 3 games for the Knicks. And each team without a key player today, Childs of New York, Stojakovic of Sacramento, neither one able to play because of injury.
That'll put a lot more pressure on Charlie Ward, who has gone the distance. Rick Brunson recently activated. Played an important role in the big comeback Brunson did at Atlanta Friday night.
Barry misses a 3, tapped in by Weber. It'll count.
No, they're going to call this foul.
I thought he said good. He says no good.
You take a look at the eyes of Jason Williams, you can't read them. Certainly, they're not playing. Where's that Knick defense? There's nobody in the vicinity of John Barry. The tip, they thought it was +1, but no.
That we saw last season in the playoffs. was good, so a three-point play by Weber. Shuffling his feet, Marcus Camby turns it over. So we were right, the Weber field goal did count. It was a three-point Sacramento play. They have a two-point lead.
And a delay of game here called against New York.
Coming to Funderburk, and Funderburk is part of that group that plays off the bench. And, you know, he is a big power player that can shoot outside and also crash the board. Camby.
Nice recovery by Camby. Caught the ball, the pass a little off target, went to the other side of the rim and put it through.
I've never seen the Knicks throw this many lobs at the basket. The Kings just lure you into that up and down game.
Well, Chris Webber has his A game today as he pounds through number 14.
Marcus Camby is limping right now. We don't know if he landed improperly, if he strained that knee that he's been playing through a painful tendonitis in.
Thomas and one.
When Marcus Camby got out in transition on the previous play for the Knicks, Charlie Ward has been putting the ball in perfect dunking position. A little bit low that time, though, as the missed timing and then the stumbling right here. That's where Marcus Camby comes up with the sore leg.
Weber coming out of the ball game, he has had a sensational start. Scott Pollard in as we get more of the bench group in. Now the only starter out on the floor is Jason Williams.
Weber just picked up his second foul, scored 14 points, 11 in the last 7 minutes. Thomas completes the three-point play, and New York leads by one, 37-36.
Look for Van Gundy to try to get as much time out of Kurt Thomas and Marcus Camby to try to slow down the bigger Weber who overpowers Larry Johnson.
Barry's pass at the side of the backboard out of bounds to New York. Well, the bench mob not too impressive so far today.
Well, maybe that's why I gave him a C. I'm not sure. But, you know, the thing about this group is they need a little bit more help. And that's the reason Jason Williams is staying out on the floor, because they are a group who feeds off of each other, but they don't get easy shots.
They're feeding Kurt Thomas at the moment. He has 5 points off the New York bench. Knicks by 3. Williams penetrates. Back out to Corbin, a long three, too long, but the long rebound to Williams, and Corbin can't handle the pass.
His vision, Jason Williams. Reminiscent Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas.
Kurt Thomas. Kept alive, and Thomas will chase it down. Another lob. Thomas got it. A scoring machine, Kurt Thomas, who is averaging only 8 points a game, but in college,
no one came to see them play. But because of Jason Williams, he is a story, and everyone has come to the Garden to see him put on a show. And in the first quarter of play, he has been sensational, and a lot of high fives given to Jason Williams on his first trip to Madison Square. They like what they see.
He's one of those guys, Jason Williams, with 4 assists already. That ball is just an extension of his mind. He's the artist. He's the creator.
Barry misses the layup. Pollard had a shot at it. Scramble and...
Kick ball. White ball on the side.
White ball on the side. Pollard called for kicking.
Do that in rugby. Get in there and kick and scrum. And
Bill was good at that.
One of the best things, I was a very, very good rugby player.
Since Chris Webber left the game, Kurt Thomas has gone wild. A 7-0 run all by himself. Crisp ball movement by the Knicks. Thomas fouled by Pollard.
All the Knicks very aggressive attacking the basket, knowing that the great ball movement here by New York, no hesitation, dump it into the low post, and once you get by your man, there's very little defensive rotation and help, particularly with Chris Webber out of the lineup.
Sends Kurt Thomas to the line. Former
scoring team in the NBA, 105 a game. The Knicks get 92 a game. The Knicks only got a few more points left in.
The Kings are at the bottom of the league, though, in defense. It's the pace that they play at. By the way, Steve, who's winning this game? I can figure out that it's a 7-point Knick lead.
Williams missed that layup. Ward in trouble. Gets it to Canby. Devot's back in the game, clears the rebound. Kurt Thomas has scored the last 9 points for the New York Knicks, giving them that 43-36 lead.
With Devot's back in the ball game, they can get back inside and start scoring a little bit from there, which will open up some of that perimeter game. Devot.
Too sweet. Vlade, who's not having the season that he had last year. Last year he was the team's go-to guy. Now Weber certainly picked it up and carried the team more than Vlade had. But when you can do things like that so effortlessly and easily, changes the whole team's dynamic.
Lottie averaging 12 points, 8 rebounds a game. Double team Johnson, got it back out, then re-entered to LJ. Spins baseline.
Belongs.
He's hit 4 of 5, 10 points in 15 minutes. Latrell Sprewell. Alan Houston is back. Finds Sprewell.
You think the coaches are going to take 2 Knicks? Houston and Sprewell?
They should. They're right there at the top. Rather see him take players for the teams at the top of the conference than at the bottom of the conference. I thought this was about winning.
Barry. Derek Martin, by the way, has replaced Jason Williams at point guard for Sacramento. They continue to have trouble scoring in this stretch.
You know, they don't get the easy shots from them. Leftover goes in there.
Alan Houston has a dozen points, and New York is up 45-38.
Well, with Derek Martin out on the floor, he has a tendency to pound it a little bit more and hang on to it. The ball doesn't move as freely. Lottie Devot's has to become the passer and the scorer as well. Devot's against Thomas.
Pollard wanted it inside. Instead, Martin launched a 3. Pollard, offensive board, back to Barry. Into Devot's against Kurt Thomas. And 1. That's, again, too easy.
They're just not moving, the Knicks, when they're guarding Vlade.
Jeff Van Gundy. And the Knicks have outscored the Kings 11-5 when Chris Webber went out with 2 fouls. He's back in the game now. That'll be a goaltend on Webber. Give it to Larry Johnson.
Outstanding execution of the set offense. They set a down screen trying to free up one of the shooters, and Larry Johnson just turned around when the switch was made. With Derek Martin on you, there is nothing that he can do. Chris Webber forced to come over, commit the goaltending violation.
See if Webber can reignite the Sacramento offense. Yes. An immediate basket from Webber, and then Alan Houston has started up court when Larry Johnson had passed him the ball. Canby saves it. Chris Webber, 7 of 9 shooting, 16 points.
Big guard lineup for New York.
Sprewell. He just used Derek Martin. Webber went flying by trying to help, didn't matter. Barry for 3.
Derek Martin, one of the great point guards in the history of UCLA, having some trouble on the defense right now.
In the history of UCLA?
Well, to go along with Walt Hazzard, Gail Goodrich, Greg Lee, Andre McCarter.
First time I'd heard his name mentioned in that group. Canby, right over Devot. New York scoring at will now against that porous Sacramento defense, which allows 102 points a game.
What they've been able to do is get closer to the bucket. The last 3 hoops have come right at point-blank range, so that's improved, and Rick Adelman wants to take his time out.
Nick Anderson back on the floor for Sacramento. Fall away by Webber, short to Ewing.
Now remember, in the first quarter play, Sacramento got a ton of layups, and they have gone away from that. They've been mostly perimeter. Their percentages dropped dramatically. The Knicks have been getting the layups here, and their percentages stayed up.
Isn't that what I said earlier was going to happen?
No. No.
Didn't I say that they were going to start playing defense? They were going to start reading the back cuts. They were going to force the Kings to the perimeter game, and they had the lead the whole way.
No.
Okay, I'll send you the tape.
Lottie Devot's committing his first foul, and Jason Williams returns as John Barry goes to the bench.
You want to give John another grade?
Outstanding. He just didn't get enough shot attempts.
He was 0 for, I believe. Tap no good. Ewing's follow.
Devot's put his hand up, and they're going to give him the foul. And Weber and Divac both got beat to that rebound. They missed time as that ball looked like it was going to spoon in for Camby. Didn't do it, and there is Patrick Ewing. Ewing's off to a very good start.
But that replay was a classic example of how not to rebound by Vlade. You have to keep your eye on the ball the whole way. Use your arms and your hips and your shoulders to keep contact with your opponent. But you have to know where the ball is going.
Jason Williams called for a turnover. And things unraveling for Sacramento here in the final minutes of the second quarter.
But this is a team that can fall totally behind and then make 7 straight threes and go way up.
Patrick Ewing has 11 points and 7 rebounds in this first half. Steal by Nick Anderson. And then he fumbled it. Has to save it back. Divac back to Anderson. Spotted for the 3. No good. Camby had Weber blocked off for the rebound.
Classic example of the way things have gone for Sacramento. A 1-on-0 turns into a scramble three-pointer.
Houston for 3. So there's a 5-point turnaround. They had a breakaway, what appeared to be a layup. Instead, it comes back in a 3-pointer for New York.
Now, Allen Houston picks up the foul, and we thought with the new rules changes, no team would be hurt more defensively as we go back and take a look at the passing and the open opportunity for Allen Houston than Miami. But it's the New York Knicks who have more fouls than anybody else, and they consistently complain about being called for foul.
Jeff Van Gundy was saying, what are they calling here?
Turning that around and say it was a hook on Nick Anderson.
No. Confusion reigning at the Garden.
Back to what you were talking about, the new rules affecting the Knicks. Jeff Van Gundy said, we were never big or quick enough. We were slow and tough, and now they've taken tough out of the equation.
Well, let's go back and take a look. Trying to get around in front.
That is an offensive foul. If they're going to call it Hibbity, clutch performer, he's got it all.
Here's an interesting stat in the game. Fast break points. You would think Sacramento would have the edge. They've been outscored 15-5 off the break. There's a block by Vlade Divac of Allen Houston.
Finally, some defensive rotation for Sacramento.
Nick Anderson cut off.
Terrific defensive talk by Marcus Camby.
Weber misses the shot. Ewing rebounds. 8 rebounds already for Patrick Ewing. Let's check in with Jim Gray.
All right, thank you, Tom. Well, Rick Adelman in the last timeout told his guys, let's not let it get away from us here at the end of this half. We had 3.5 minutes. Now it's down to about 2.5 minutes. Let's try and get it under 10 to stay in the game and give ourselves a shot here in the second half. Don't get careless with this remaining time. Tom?
All right, Jim, and the Kings have come up with a couple of defensive stops since that timeout. Jason Williams kicks to Corbin for 3. Ewing taps it to himself and has the rebound.
Now they've gone totally perimeter, and that's hurt them in trying to get back in the ball game here in the second quarter, and they are struggling.
Sprewell wouldn't go down, and a loose ball foul called on Marcus Camby.
Aggressive on the line for the Eastern Conference. Not a lot of big guys doing great right now, with the exception of Alonzo Mourning.
Vlade Divac breaks a scoring drought for the Kings. They'd gone 3 minutes 45 seconds and had been outscored 10-0 before that Divac basket. Here's the double of LJ. Back to Camby. Marcus Camby no good, but Larry Johnson with the offensive rebound.
Tough matchup for Tyrone Corbin. The Knicks should milk Larry Johnson down inside.
Camby fouled by Divac.
Sheer that Lamar Odom has, but he brings a lot of different aspects to the table, including great leadership.
Scott Pollard back into the game for Sacramento. Corbin from Weber turned it over.
The Kings have to get away from the officials right now. They feel that here in the last 5 minutes of play, they haven't gotten a call, and they're starting to bark the wrong way when they need to focus on their opponent, the New York Knicks, trying to come back to Sprewell. Camby goes on his own.
Weber took it away, but it came right back to Camby, who put it through. Well, who's the high-scoring team now? We have a minute left in the second, and the Knicks have scored 61.
And they would be on a pace of 122, and that's 30 over their average.
That's enough for 2 games.
They've only had one blowout here this year at the Garden when they waxed the Dallas Mavericks. That was, of course, before the Mavericks had Dennis Rodman on the squad.
Weber, by the way, 19 points now in the first half. Allen Houston has it going. He has 17, nearly matching Weber.
Allen Houston has been devastating along the baseline. That's a wild shot. That's not really the kind of shot that you want your point guard to be taking.
Final seconds of the second quarter. Sprewell's pass deflected. Jason Williams all alone with the lob, and Weber missed it. Williams got it back. Corbin for 3. That's just the way they drew it up.
I'm sorry. It's a good thing.
Got it.
I love this game. It's a good thing Tyrone Corbin comes in and bails out Chris Webber and Jason Williams. And then the Knicks right back. Everybody else thinks it's over. The quick inbound, the Kings in retreat. Why not? Heat check from three-quarter court.
The answering 3 by Camby. He was on the other side of this three-point line. They ought to give him 6. Knicks firmly in control, 66-51. Stay tuned for net zero at the half after these messages. Right. This is an explosive team. They can go either way in a hurry.
Steve, you played against Rick Adelman. Was his game similar to Jason Williams?
Jason Williams is an original and Rick wasn't, so I mean, you know, they're nowhere in the same planet, but Rick Adelman has a good understanding of his team, and we'll find out whether he's able to reel them in here in the second half of play. Where they started so well was getting the high percentage layup, and then they became a jump shooting team in that second quarter, got nothing for it.
Kind of like that?
Just like that, but they get this one back.
But rule changes or not, the Knicks are still the best defensive team along with the Lakers and San Antonio.
Portland doesn't count in that group?
No.
The Knicks do lead the league in opponents' field goal percentage, allowing only 40.6% shooting. In points allowed, they're third, allowing 90.7. Honus Williamson misses from in close.
The intimidation by Ewing. Even though he didn't get it, he forced the miss, allowing his teammates to gobble up rebounds.
Sprewell outside. Latrell Sprewell now with 14 points.
You talk about the Knicks having a letdown and not be able to keep this pace. That's why they should milk Sprewell right now, because he's the guy who never gets tired of scoring.
Foul call. Well, Jeff Van Gundy was talking to us about his team not always coming to play, sometimes needing a little boost, a little enthusiasm in their game. They obviously have it today.
Well, the stars are aligned for them so far. They shot better than 60% in that first half of play. But the Knicks have had huge leads against opponents and then suddenly, inexplicably, stop scoring points. And I think that that's what the Kings are going to be banking on. Corliss Williams gets his first 2.
Rick Adelman needs so much more out of Corliss Williamson. He's got a great matchup virtually on a nightly basis. Consistency really a factor with Corliss.
LJ to Sprewell for 2. And a foot on the line, but Sprewell knocked it down, and he has 16. 7 of 11 shooting for Latrell. Under pressure, Chris Webber, and 1. Boy, this guy is hot. I'm telling you, he is playing great basketball.
He's got his life together. He's very happy, very comfortable. He's also a collector of memorabilia. He's got a terrific collection on display at Wayne State University in Detroit of the civil rights struggle. A lot of Martin Luther King memorabilia.
Three-point play. He has 22 in the game on 9 of 14 shooting. 22 points in 22 minutes. LJ fouled.
The Knicks have kept it simple today. While the Kings have come to try to put on a show, the Knicks have come with the attitude of, hey, look, we've got to win this game. We've got to send our coach to the All-Star game, because if that happens, he'll be so busy out in San Francisco. Steve, is David Robinson all right after yesterday's shoulder injury?
Well, we don't know, and that'll be a big concern for San Antonio. Everybody's been talking about replacing Sean Elliott, but if David Robinson is down, they get themselves in big trouble. Turnover.
Williams pass too hard and too tall. And the Kings turn it over, trailing 72-56.
And you think about what the turnovers cost them. 11 turnovers, 20 points in that first half of play. So there are a lot of areas that the Kings need to tighten up if they're going to get the win.
Larry Johnson facing up and shooting over Chris Webber.
The Knicks are really getting into a smooth, efficient offensive rhythm. LJ one time, Sprewell.
Devon's backdoor cut from Anderson. Nice cut, nice play.
You know, Jeff Van Gundy told us he wanted to keep this game in the 90s, but the way that his team is going, they're well ahead of that pace. Almost a turnover. Deflection.
Rick Adelman is really having a tough time on that Sacramento bench. The call's not going his way. Throwing his arms up in exasperation. Very difficult to win on the road in the Eastern Conference.
I would think coaching the Kings would teach one patience.
Great ball movement.
Charlie Ward for three. Anderson chases it down to Williams.
Bad matchup for Larry Johnson, and Divac looking to score. Nice. You know, Lottie has really developed that shot. He used to shoot the hook shot. Now he always comes underneath, surprising the defender.
That's a Serbian scoop.
He just pointed over here to Steve Jones and said, Steve, even you couldn't stop that move. The fine defender that you were.
Has a tough shot too. Houston with a pull-up baseline jumper, and Allen has 19.
Both teams just trading baskets at this point. Great pass.
Anderson lost it out of bounds.
Just got to catch that. Steve, you were talking about the layups in the first half. You kept coming back to that. The final layup dunk total, Sacramento had 11 in the first half. The Knicks, by the way, who led by 15 that they had 13.
Yeah, they changed quarters. You know, Sacramento got all of their layups in that first quarter of 11 because I don't think they shot a layup in the second. Johnson for three.
Everything going in for the Knicks. 9 points for LJ. It's 79-60.
Larry Johnson's three-point shot coming back, reminiscent Game 3 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Williamson under pressure lays it in. Corliss.
But that last Knick play was a classic example of how well it's gone for New York. It broke down. The play did. Sprewell and Houston bumped into each other and were completely out of it. And Larry Johnson just stepped back and let it fly.
Sprewell back to Ewing. Nice position for Anderson on the rebound. Williams finds Williamson to Webber. Spins and puts up a wild shot that Divac pulls down, stripped away from him. Ward to Houston. Got it.
Rick Adelman disdaining the timeout call at this point. He says, well, maybe if we can just get more shots up, something good will happen.
Well, that goes to Chris Webber every time. 24 for Webber, and he's gotten that on 10 of 16 shooting.
offensive scheme here. Charlie Ward pulling the trigger. But they just rotate Houston, Sprewell, and Larry Johnson to play with Charlie Ward, and it is really clicking for New York.
And the Knicks are firmly in command. The NBA on NBC. Holtzman. In Holtzman's banner. 613 wins here in the rafters of the Garden, and that 51 title, the only one the Kings franchise has ever won.
Red Holtzman, one of just a handful of NBA coaches who are in the Basketball Hall of Fame. But that Knicks team, Ernie Vandeweghe on it, Dick McGuire, what a special team it was.
Allen Houston shooting for his 23rd point. Big disappointment in Atlanta on Friday night. Alan Henderson made a big mistake, fouling him with just over 2 seconds left, down by 3 the Knicks were. Houston made the first free throw, missed the second, and had to purposely miss the third. But
that's been the story.
He should make all 3. Yeah.
But Allen Houston is a stand-up guy. When I talked to him about it in the locker room before the game, and he was beyond it. He was just, hey, I'd rather be there myself than anyone else. And that's the attitude that you have to have.
Jason Williams, the long rebound taken by Anderson.
Well, we're about to find out just how badly the Kings want this. As they're down by 19, can they fight their way back in it? Because New York has been making almost every shot. You look at Sprewell and Houston, they have been sizzling.
But Spree's calling for it right now. He's feeling the rhythm right now. He's signaling to Charlie Ward, bring it my way.
There he is. Gave it back to Ward. Sprewell is fouled.
Weber picks up the foul. He can't afford to get nicked with another one. That's his 4th.
But Sprewell is the kind of player who never gets tired. Sometimes the focus and the boredom when they have a big lead affects his game, but the Knicks today seem to be collectively focused in on the task at hand, and knowing the explosiveness of Sacramento, they have come to play a full 48 minutes.
Which is what Van Gundy said is sometimes missing in their game, that enthusiasm and being ready to play. Williamson off the break from Williams. Double digits, 10 points for Corliss. Jason Williams with a pass. Five minutes left in the third. Johnson against Weber. Weber, remember, playing now with 4 fouls. LJ missed it right at the rim. D-Bots to Williams. Behind the back and nearly took Vlade's head off. One thing's for certain, if you play with Jason Williams, you better be alert.
But to throw a pass like that and come out of it smiling, an egg on your face,
well,
and you're down, what, 17?
Let's take your response. He's a stand-up guy. He's beyond it. He'll throw another one. He might hit you. You know, there's no telling what kind of pass that guy will throw and when he'll throw it. And the one thing that Alleman has done is allowed him to be Jason Williams. So they have to live with it.
The one thing that Magic Johnson never did was he never let the show get in the way of winning the ball game.
Anderson an air ball.
But you would have to say that they're different players. I mean, Magic Johnson's focus was always on the win. Jason Williams has not been that way.
Sprewell right to the rim. Here's Jason Williams. He has 11 assists, 5 turnovers.
But that's where your ultimate success is determined by your ability to win.
Anderson fouled. Is it Ward or Houston?
Good Bob Cousy. Bob Cousy brought that same element of dazzle and sizzle. But it was always about the ultimate challenge, getting that victory.
Right now, the Knicks look like they're on their way to victory with a big lead.
Sprewell and Houston have combined to go 7 for 7 from the floor in the third quarter alone. They have certainly brought their best against one of the elite teams, something that they have not done successfully this year.
And the Sacramento Kings Broadway opening is going to be a short close. Charlie Ward, blindside steal, and the layup. Pretty work by Charlie Ward.
And even
Charlie comes out smiling on that play. Well, doesn't have the explosiveness that he used to. Charlie Ward's knee plagued already at this young age by arthritis.
Guy was a football player. You ought to be plagued by something. But Ward has always been a guy that's been looking for the steal, picks the pocket, and goes coast to coast.
That's a Terry Porter move. That's what we've seen from Terry Porter, now starring with San Antonio for so many years. Comes right at you when the defender is there. Terry just sneaks to the weak side.
And next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern, the Golden Spike Indoor Track and Field Series comes here to Madison Square Garden, the U.S. Air Force Millrose Games. And the world's fastest human, Maurice Green, goes for gold in the 60-meter sprint. The U.S. Air Force Millrose Games next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern, here on NBC.
Well, the goal for the Sacramento Kings is to get 10 off this lead here before this quarter ends. They're down 21 steal.
Williams pulls up. Weber for the offensive rebound.
Jason
Ward with another steal. Sprewell cut off by Anderson.
Jason Williams hit his first couple of shots. He's been ice cold since.
Johnson for three. Get the shot clock out of bounds. Back to Sacramento.
I just wonder if Jason Williams knows how difficult it is to play in this building as a visitor, as an opponent.
Weber couldn't get the bank shot. Houston.
I think with Jason Williams, they're all the same. This one just is got more history and theater to it. Sprewell.
Divac altered the shot. Here's Williamson.
What is a foul?
They couldn't wait to get to that Jason Williams pass.
There were two guys diving on the floor for it.
Kurt Thomas re-enters the Knicks lineup. Remember, when he came in the first half, he single-handedly broke open a close game, scoring 9 straight points.
You know, their bench consists of 2 guys today, and that is both big guys, Camby and Thomas.
Divac dared to shoot outside, can't hit.
Go to Allen Houston right now. Spree's got a little bit of fatigue on him. Milk Allen Houston along that baseline.
What about Ewing? Oh, came out. Anderson clears to Williams inside the 2-minute mark of the third. Divac back outside. Weber for 3.
No offensive rebounding for Sacramento.
What Sacramento start doing is standing as Houston goes.
Houston's feeling it today. In fact, all the Knicks are. They continue to shoot 60%. And Allen has 28 points, 11 in the quarter.
What pace are they on now? They were on 122, I think, in the first half.
Divac working his way free, pivoting for the reverse. 17 for Vlade.
That would make him 125 or 6. They'll never get there.
I thought you were good at math, Phil. We've got a timeout with 1:02 left in the third quarter. Adelman looks up and doesn't like what he sees. He's